Hello class, I'm Dr. Melillo and I'd like to talk to you about literary circles. Now the technical description of a literary circle is a student-driven small group exercise for analyzing a work of literature. It's designed to promote higher order thinking that emphasizes questioning, vocabulary development, and writing. Each member in the group of 4 or 5 students has a specific job, and as the group participates in a live discussion, whether face-to-face or through synchronous learning, a tool like Illuminate, everyone can be involved. Now you can have your group have a small group that participates in this while the other members in a whole class observes, or you can have each member of the group be a part of a smaller group and go through this process. So it allows you to cover a lot of different literature or just one piece of literature, but all together with students driving the course instead of the instructor. Let's take a look at the jobs that are involved in a literary circle discussion. The first job is the discussion director. The discussion director will create a list of questions on the literary work that will guide a discussion. The questions should be open-ended and require that the group members respond in personal and thoughtful ways. These should not be based on lower order thinking that you'd see in Bloom's taxonomy, such as listing plot summary or denotative definitions, but rather analysis or evaluation, using the work to support unique analytical ideas. Such questions may involve a student taking a particular stand or interpretation and supporting that with text from the literature. The director should allow all members to respond. The next job is word finder. Now, understanding vocabulary is really key to reading, whether you are studying a work of prose, literature, or poetry. Understanding that vocabulary is the key to finding the meaning. So the job of the word finder includes reviewing the work for unfamiliar or unique vocabulary and try to determine its meaning within the connotation of the work. The word finder should also determine if the denotative, which is the dictionary definition, is relevant to the connotative one in the work, or if there are multiple meanings that may influence the meaning of the work as a whole. So language is key to understanding. So the word finder is a very important position. This is a sample job sheet that the word finder can use in determining important vocabulary, and you can see that it has several parts: the word itself, the line or page where this word is found, a denotative definition, which again is dictionary, and then a connotative meaning within the work itself, or if the work has multiple meanings for this word. So this is really good in preparation. Another very important job in a literary circle is the connector. This is the bottom line of reading literature. What does it have to do with me? If people can find that connection, then they will like the poem or the short story or whatever piece of literature so much better. So the connector determines connections between this work of literature and real life events that may be general or personal. These connections can help to determine how a work can specifically relate to the reader. This worksheet allows the connector to jot down a few connections and put especially where the page number or line number that this particular idea comes from, because this will be very helpful later in when a student has to write an analysis of the work. Then this is kind of a pre-writing sheet that someone can use. Another interesting job in a literary circle is the illustrator. Now, if you have someone who is a visual learner and kind of sees the pictures of what's going on in a piece of literature, this would be a good job for that person. The illustrator collects or creates visual images that represent the meaning of the work being studied. They can include paintings, digital images, photographs, or even drawings if the illustrator is particularly talented in that area. But this helps people see a visualization of the work, and it's kind of a fun job. The worksheet for the illustrator might just include a series of pictures or pictures that are dragged and dropped into the page from a computer, any kind of collection that the illustrator can show and share with the others in the group. The final job, and a very important one, is the recorder. The recorder takes notes of the entire process of the literary circle and talks about the highlights so that as the group reviews what it has done, it can see the whole process in writing. It will help later for writing the paper, and it really allows outsiders to also see what happened with a particular group. So the recorder will record the overall discussion highlights and pass these notes on to the group for review. Now, something else I'd like to point out is that if you have a large class, the entire class does not have to participate in a literary circle, although it's really a nice idea to have several groups reading several pieces of literature, and it's a really good way to review literature, a lot of literature all at once. However, if the whole class is studying one work, you can have just one group go through the literary circle process while the rest of the class observes and takes notes. So it's really a nice way to use small groups, whole groups, whatever, to review a piece of literature so that later, if students have to write an analysis on that literature, they have a wonderful resource of thoughts and ideas that are supported with quotes from the actual literature itself. It's a wonderful process and very rewarding. So I hope you give it a shot.